I promise you this, that if you just focus on getting better quality sleep, you're gonna see way more fat loss results. So I'm gonna share with you guys a lot of different studies on what happens when you're sleep deprived. And I really want you to understand the importance of getting more quality sleep and then how that's gonna affect you. At the end of the day, man, I can't stress this enough, right? Going back to the 7 essential fat loss habits, 1 being calories, 2 being your macronutrients, 3 being your strength training, 4 being your the NEATs, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, 5 the hydration, 6 is the stress management, and 7 the recovery, right, or sleep. These last 2, the stress and the recovery, play such a vital role into overall all fat loss progress, overall all fat loss habits. Think about it. You could be going for walks. You could be, eating healthy and eating properly and eating plenty of protein. You could be training hard in the gym and focusing on that progressive overload. But at the end of the day, if you're sleep deprived and you're not recovering properly and you're underneath all this amount of stress, maybe at home or at work, you're not going to see the results you're looking for at all, So we always like to, show the importance of just making sure that you're focused on doing things that's really going to help you lower the stress, and then doing things that's going to help you on improving your sleep, your recovery, And the reason why it's so important is because this is what happens when you're sleep deprived, okay? If you're sleeping less than, let's say, 6 hours on average, okay? Obesity increases by 21%. Think about it too. I think it's over 45% of the US population is considered obese, Most people are not even sleeping enough. And if you want to learn about how to lower that obesity rate, I would just focus on, hey, how do we just get people to prioritize their sleep more effectively? Because so many times, right, people miss out on just learning on how to train their body, proper, health and wellness for their overall lifestyle. And they think it's just grind. Oh, let me just work out. Let me just eat healthy. But if they're lacking the sleep, it's not going to help you out. It's really not. So I think just the overall importance of teaching somebody sustainable habits like what we do at Heartletics could really help with just the overall lowering obesity rate by, hey, focus on just getting more sleep in. We're going to go over some tips on how to do that at the end, but sleeping less than 6 hours on average, increasing the obesity rate, right, for somebody by up to 21%, that's horrible. And, that's also going to lead into so many other areas of their life, not just with being overweight and, high body fat. There's a lot of health concerns to that. Sleeping less than 6 hours on average, not just the aspect of the increased obesity, but also, think about it. Stroke, right? That's going to be increased by up to 22%. I know for me, I don't want to take those risks. What's the point? Why grind and not prioritize my sleep if there's all these underlying health concerns with being sleep deprived and sleeping less than 6 hours on average, right? You're increasing the chances of stroke by 22%, diabetes by 25%, which is wild. It's just, there's so much importance to, once again, the sleep and the recovery. Heart disease increases by 35%. There's so much importance to just making sure that you're sleeping more and properly recovering your body effectively. I always like to use the analogy of treat your body like a vehicle, all right? Not this broken down Honda Civic with, broken out windows and no AC and, no air in the tires and just running around on fumes. You're barely, filling up the gas tank half the time. And you never bring it in for, let's say, maintenance to get an oil change or, just get it looked by a mechanic to make sure that everything's fine and it's falling apart. When you're not recovering your body properly, right? When you're not eating properly, when you're not training properly, when you're not sleeping properly, when you're underneath all this stress constantly over and over again and you're spiking your cortisol levels, like it's just like a vehicle. How much longer can it run before it eventually breaks down? And I think that's the importance that you need to start having for your body, is just treat it like a temple, right? Treat it like a Ferrari, treat it like a Viper, treat it like, your McLaren, right? Whatever the fancy car that you want to have one day in your life, treat it like that. Like food equals fuel, we always talk about, but don't neglect the simple things like sleeping more, right? And recovery to also get it to be more efficient, and putting like some of those health stats aside, there's other areas where when you're lacking in sleep, it's going to hinder as well, right? You're going to see some negative effects. Like for starters, you're going to be hungrier more frequently. I know for me, like if there's ever days or nights where I don't sleep the best, man, like I don't know what it is. Maybe I just lack the willpower, but I don't want to, basically eat the best, so to speak. I'm not worried about like, man, having some chicken and some rice and some vegetables. Like I'm like, just give me some fast food and whatever the case may be, and I'm just constantly hungry, over and over again. And like I have the taste buds for all the foods that don't serve me the best, with getting the best results possible. So I think in terms of that, other things too is just like if you're not recovering properly, you're not sleeping properly, you're going to be underneath all this, stress, which is going to spike your cortisol levels. Well, hey, think about it too. Like you're not going to be burning body fat. Studies have shown that 55%, right? You're 55% less likely to see fat loss progress just by like sleeping less than 6 hours on average. Isn't that wild? Maybe you're like, once again, eating healthy, training hard, getting your steps in, right? Drinking plenty of water, but your sleep is 4 or 5 hours, and you're wondering why you're not seeing any progress. Well, hey, maybe it's the simple fact that you're not sleeping enough. You're not prioritizing your recovery, which is huge in all of this, honestly. Another stats have showed that also when you're not sleeping enough, remember, we go to the gym, right? We're breaking down the muscle fibers, right? Doing some bicep curls, squats, deadlifts, benching, whatever the case may be. You're breaking down the muscles. And so if you're not recovering properly, your muscles aren't going to recover properly. And if you're sleeping less than 6 hours on average, you're like 60% more likely to actually lose that muscle that you're trying your hardest to build and develop, right? And obviously there's so much importance to going to the gym and the strength training and focusing on building that muscle, because that's going to speed up your metabolism, which is going to help you burn more body fat in the long run. But if you're once again lacking on the sleep, you can't do that. You're going to be losing that muscle. It's almost just like, what's the point of even going to the gym? Just might as well just go take a nap instead. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be spinning your wheels here. This is why all the Heartletics all the fat loss habits at Heartletics, we have such a priority on, hey, creating this as a routine that's structured for somebody. Because if it fits in with their lifestyle and they know the importance of the 7 essential fat loss habits, they're going to be able to stick with that long term. They're going to be able to put this in their routine where, okay, I understand this is the importance of sleeping more. This is the importance of, lowering my stress. This is the importance of hydration. This is the importance of just getting up and being more moving around more, being more active with the NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Hey, I need to make sure like I'm focused on eating more protein. I'm staying within my calorie range for fat loss. I'm going to the gym or doing some stuff at home to push my muscles and focus on that progressive overload. And it's not hard at all. Like we make it so simple for somebody, but they need to understand the importance, right? And maybe you didn't understand the importance of, proper sleep. Like maybe you didn't know about the obesity, increasing 21%, or the stroke increasing 22%, or diabetes increasing by 25%, or heart disease, increasing by 35%. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you know that, not getting enough sleep is actually going to, help you lose your muscle mass, which you don't want to do, right? And it's going to stop your fat loss progress. Maybe you didn't know that, but maybe now you do. So now you know the importance of the sleep, Studies have shown also time and time again, right? What happens when you sleep more? right? Especially for guys over the age of 30. Like, let's face the facts here. When you're sleeping, let's just say 7-8 hours on average compared to, 5 hours, you're going to have up to 20% more natural free testosterone. That is like the best fat burner right there. So instead of going on Amazon and Google searching what's the best way to burn body fat and buying all these pointless supplements, hey, why don't you just sleep more? That's going to be the best natural fat burner right there. That's going to be the best natural, testosterone booster right there, is just by sleeping more. But you got to understand the importance of all of this. And I stress it so much just because at the end of the day, somebody, once again, could be crushing it with the nutrition, crushing it in the gym with the training, crushing it with the NEATs, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, crushing it with the hydration, right? But if they're lacking literally on the recovery and the sleep, and next thing you know, they're at high amounts of cortisol because they're underneath all this stress, you're not going to see the progress that you're looking for. I cannot stress that enough. So focus on improving that. And how do you do that? There's multiple ways. I think the best recommendation is, 1, knowing the importance, which hopefully now you do. 2, putting it into just, okay, hey, I'm going to be doing this. Instead of this, hey, I might go to sleep at this time, might go to sleep at this time. No, get it down with your circadian rhythm, right? Where, hey, eventually, right, you can adapt to this to where if, let's say, you don't like going to sleep at this time, once again, your body's going to improve on that, right? Your circadian rhythm is going to adapt to that and change over time as long as you're just more consistent with it. So focus. I'm going to sleep at this time and I'm waking up at this time, right? Maybe that means you have to, cut out TV time in the evening time, or cut out movie time, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe that means like you're sleeping in a little bit later, whatever the case may be. Everybody has the opportunity to fit it in. It's about, instead of you focusing on time management, you focus on more, controlling that time and saying, I need to do this because it's going to help me reach my goals. I need to do this because it's a priority, So instead of watching your favorite, sports teams or movies late at night, hey, prioritize your sleep because that's going to help you out in the long run. That's going to help you out with your health, which is the most important thing out there, because when you're becoming the best version of yourself, think about that like you're recharging your batteries, right? Sleeping more, eating better, being more active, you're recharging your batteries. What happens when you recharge your batteries? You can pour back out into others, your family, your friends, community, right? Coworkers, society, all that stuff, because you're focusing on being a little bit selfish, which there's nothing selfish about it. It's called selfless, honestly, because you're improving the lives of others around you as well. You're leading by example. So control that time. Put yourself first, hands down, and in the evening time, have an evening time routine. Maybe that's, once again, turning off the TV or turning off social media in your phone and focusing on, doing something like reading a book or a nighttime meditation, or just listening to some binaural beats that's going to just calm, right? Some smoothing music that's just going to calm your brainwaves down to get you in that sleepy, drowsy state. You can look into things like, sleepy time tea that you can buy on Amazon or buy at the grocery store in the tea aisle. That's just, once again, going to help you just get into that state where you're a little bit more, restful. And you're like, okay, hey, I need to go to sleep here, But I think the issue is that most people don't understand the importance of sleep and recovery. And that's why I always tell people, hey, you can be doing everything right by the books, right? Training hard, eating plenty of protein, right? Getting your steps in, hydration, staying within your calorie range. But if you're really lacking on those last 2 fat loss habits, the stress management and the sleep and recovery, you're going to be spinning your wheels here. You're not going to be seeing the results that you truly want. So long story short, focus on improving that sleep, focus on the recovery, and I promise you, you will see better fat loss results hands down.